Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who The Crusade, which is partly missing. Episodes 1 and 3 survive and are available on the Lost in Time box set, which also includes episodes 2 and 4's surviving audio. Those two episodes are the missing ones, though. So, yeah. Strange Who The Crusade hasn't had its own DVD release like the Moonbase, which also has surviving episodes on this set, numbers 2 and 4, but the missing episodes 1 and 3 have their audio, and when eventually they got animated and the whole story was released on DVD, but this has not happened for the Crusade yet. So I'm wondering if that's a planned one for the future, but Moonbase's one was 2014. They did not do any more after the next one was the Web of Fear, and they didn't do any after that for 2014 for the classic series. They had trouble with sorting out the Underwater Menace, but eventually that came out in late 2015. Then they started doing reanimations of stories. Power of the Daleks came out in 2016. Sharda 2017, got the End of the World Special Edition in 2018, but that's also a completely surviving story anyway. Web of Fear's going to have to get one of those if they can find or reanimate the missing episode of that. The original version got a reconstruction. And in 2019, this year, we're going to get the Macra Terror. This includes new series and Blu-rays, the complete season Blu-rays. So, really, the Crusade ought to be the next one. Just for the same reason as the Moonbase's release. Same reasons. But anyway, so the Crusade. I can safely say is a much better story than the last two. Just about. It's enjoyable at times, it's fun. It's also got its fair share of annoying and nasty characters, and a bit annoying in some places, and some of the side plots can get in the way of the main plot. Like, you keep meeting all these other characters, and the plot about this I don't want to say Arab, but the Sultan, I'll have to call him Arab, Middle Easterns. This Middle Eastern character becomes kind of like becomes the main villain of the story. He's the guy who kidnaps Barbara at the start, but when she pretends to be the Princess Joanna, who is actually actually called Princess Joan in real life, but Princess Joanna in the story, or Joanna. Anyway, so when she's presented to the Sultan and his brother, it's revealed that it was a trick, and so this guy gets a bit, it's been made to look like a bit of an idiot. So he turns full-on villain and tries to have her captured and tries to make her suffer for that. Well, kidnapped, then captured when she escapes. In fact, Barbara manages to escape quite a few times, which is actually pretty good. The fact she keeps getting recaptured isn't so good. And she keeps meeting other characters, like the guy who wants to kill him. I think it's Saladin? I think that's the villain's name. Saladin. I'll just call him the villain. The villain for what he did to his wife and son, and kidnapping his eldest daughter and burning the house. What a prick. Looks like the Saladin character has quite a few women in his lives, and one of them even tells on Barbara, but eventually she gets saved by the guy who helped her at the start, and then Ian arrives to help finish off the guards eventually. But I don't know if we needed that guy's appearance. Maybe he was important to the story of the Crusade, but certainly I didn't think he was that important. I think not Kublai Khan, what's his name? The villain from Marco Polo. I think he had more importance in the story. I think it was also more historically accurate. Also, the one from the Aztecs, he made sense to be a villain. Dare I say it, but even the villains from the Romans even made sense for the story. Same for Reign of Terror, as annoying as they were. But here, it just seems like a side story. I mean, I'm okay with Barbara going to see the Sultans, but this other guy who just turns out to be even to be the worst character in the story, shortly after just being shown as a bit of an idiot. Oh, I didn't like that. I did, however, like the story with King Richard I and his interactions with the Doctor, Vicky, and Ian, and then later on with Joanna. She was very good. Both actors of King Richard and Princess Joanna would later reappear in Doctor Who. Julian Glover does a very good job as the King Richard, and he will return in a very popular story, City of Death, where he plays the villain of that story, and he is bloody fantastic in that story. More on that when we get to that time. And that's also basically his City of Death is his audition for For Your Eyes Only, the Bond film, which we'll also get to in the future, maybe a bit sooner. We'll see. Whilst Princess Joanna is played by Jean Marsh, who will come back next season as Sarah Kingdom and will reprise that role in Big Finish. She will also be in Battlefield as the villain, and will also be in another one or two Big Finishes. I think another Big Finish as another character that isn't Sarah Kingdom. So, and also appear in Adventure in Space and Time, which I forgot to mention for the last story, the Web Planet. Adventure in Space and Time had a scene where they were doing the Web Planet, but the scene that was taking place was the Doctor talking to Ian and Barbara, whilst the scene I think it was supposed to be replicating in the story didn't have Barbara at all, and the clothes were a bit different. So, Adventure in Space and Time had a bit of a hiccup there. But back to the Crusade. Okay, I wasn't so keen on the Vicky pretending to be a boy story, because halfway through, it's revealed what Joanna finds it out, and eventually everyone's like, oh, it's okay. Okay, fair enough, okay. There is a funny scene where some guy has to go and get some dresses for her, and he's like, dresses for a boy? But apart from that, it's not really much needed. Either have Vicky pretend to be a boy throughout the entire story, or don't bother at all. But don't do it halfway through. The only good thing was that funny scene where the guy was like, you need dresses for a boy? That was the only good bit. And the fact that she went into Joanna's company, but that could have happened from the start. I don't think you needed it. I mean, fair enough, you were worried about it. But I think also they might have already guessed. And they didn't really try very hard to hide Vicky. Any other time women pretend to be men, they usually try a bit harder. This was actually the weakest time. Susan may have gotten away with it a bit easier, but not so much Vicky. Mainly because Vicky's got more hair. Oh, and there's this additional unnecessary villain called the Earl of Leicester. He's a bit of a prick. We didn't really need him. It's just because he wants to have a fight with the enemy, basically, as opposed to anything really necessary. Yeah, motivations in this story aren't that for this character anyway. Isn't very good. It's going to be worse next story, but no, I don't really think he is a last-minute obstacle as well that Ian has to get round. Ian and the Doctor have to get round. So, yeah. Yeah, well. Time to wrap it up. The Crusade is alright. It's pretty good. It's got some good moments. It's fun. It's more enjoyable than the last two stories. It's on par with The Rescue as a good story. I think The Rescue, I just enjoyed that more as opposed to how much of a good story that was. Rescue was okay story, enjoyable though. This one is good story, marginally enjoyable. I'm going to pass it with a 7 out of 10. So The Crusade I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's stronger than the last two stories and the next story. Is it stronger than The Rescue? Well, I think I might consider that higher just for my enjoyment. But story-wise, I think it might go just a bit above. So yeah, that's The Crusade. Have the missing 2 episodes of this one animated and released on DVD. I know it's not one of my favourites, but it's the one that should, just because the same happened for the Moonbase with the surviving audio on Lost in Time, and therefore easy to transfer to animation. To an episode, surely. Oh well, we'll see what happens at the time. Macrotel was a surprise choice for this year's one, or at least this year's first one if they do any more. Not so much likely, we'll see. Most of the attention will probably go on to the new Blu-ray box sets. Anyway, so that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Oh, that brings me to another point. If they wanted to do William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton complete season box sets, if they do the animated episodes for the Crusade, then they can do season 2. They can get season 2's Blu-ray boxes out. Other than these 2 episodes, season 2 is pretty much complete. Season 6 is the next easiest one to do, with only 7 episodes missing, and 2 of those are done. Then again, the remaining 5 are for my least favourite story of all time. Or maybe they can sort out season 1 instead. 5 not too far from being complete though, they just have to finish that one up a bit. Anyway, so that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and next time I will be reviewing the Space Museum. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Not another sodder. I can't wait for the chase. I really can't wait. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Okay, well, this story is... It's alright. Who wrote it? David Whittaker. Okay, the Crusade. But back to the Crusade. It's either go all out and go, either do it the whole, either do. In the end, the Crusade.